Good morning, welcome on board at the Papa Hotel for November 6. I'm going to take you for a nice flight over the northern part of Holland and enjoy it.
Between the 8th and 11th centuries, Holland was regularly plagued by Viking raiding parties from Scandinavia. Holland was just part of the Netherlands at the time and extended from Texel to Middelburg. Much of it was underwater, which made it easy for Vikings to reach large trading cities like Utrecht. In the same period, St. Michael's Church was built on the Wieringen Island near the small village of Oosterland. The church was built high enough for people and cattle to take refuge there when the area around it flooded. Finds have revealed the presence of Vikings on this former island. In about the year 1000, the population of West Friesland rose up against Holland to gain their independence. During the resulting war, Count Floris V of Holland and Zeeland ordered Radboud Castle to be built in Medemblik to suppress the Frisian people. He managed to do this for several decades until he was murdered in 1296. After a year of intense battles, the West Frisians finally surrendered. Halfway through the 80-year War, Haarlem was besieged and occupied by the Spaniards. The army marched on to Alkmaar, but William of Orange had ordered the piercing of dikes around the town, after which the Spanish siege commenced. On the 8th of October, 1573, the Spaniards were pushed back and the siege on Alkmaar was lifted. The Dutch East India Company was founded in 1602 to trade with India. Hoorn's location made it an important town for the Dutch East India Company. A number of warehouses and a shipyard were built, all of which still exist today. The most well-known merchant from Hoorn was Jan Pietersen Cohen, who later became the Governor-General of the Dutch East Indies. Under the leadership of Jan Adriaanzoon Leeuwater, the Beemster was one of the first parts of the Zuiderzee to be reclaimed in 1612. He developed wind-powered watermills to dry mill areas of land ringed by dikes. Within just several decades, large parts of the Zuiderzee had made way for land. Reclamation activities continued even after Leeuwater's death. The last polder to be created in the Netherlands was southern Flevoland. The French Emperor, Napoleon Bonaparte, visited the harbour town of Den Helder in 1811, at the time of the French occupation. This was some 10 years after the defeat of the Dutch fleet by the French army in Den Helder. Napoleon was impressed by what he saw and wanted to make sure that Den Helder would be able to withstand an attack by England. Several fortresses from the Den Helder defense line are still intact to this very day. The defense line of Amsterdam is a 135-kilometer-long defense line that encircles Amsterdam. Construction work started in 1880. The idea was that the government and king would be able to withdraw if the Netherlands was ever attacked. The defense line consists of 45 fortresses and a number of dikes and sluices. Large parts of land around the defense line could be flooded too, making Amsterdam inaccessible to attackers. The fortresses in Den Helder were not used in just the French occupation alone. During the Second World War, the German occupiers built concrete bunkers as part of the so-called Atlantic Wall. This coastal fortification covered a distance of more than 5,000 kilometers and extended from Norway up to the border from Spain. This meant that it ran past the entire coastline of the Netherlands too. The defense line was never completed because of the Allied attacks on Normandy in 1944, which brought an end to German occupation. All of these historical events helped make North Holland what it is today. Innovation helped North Holland to develop in the past, and the same is true today. One example of innovation in North Holland today: InnoVfoam's fire extinguishing projects. Until 1844, Kolholm was a fishing village on the banks of the Zuider Zee. Today, it's the home port of Avia Maris, which has its fuel tank terminal on the banks of the canal. InnoVfoam developed and installed the foam extinguishing systems used to protect this terminal in 2005. The Tesso has been ferrying passengers across the historic Maasdiep between Den Helder and Texel since 1908. There have been 15 different vessels over the years, including the current flagship, the Texelstrom, which has been in use since 2016. InnoVfoam developed and supplied the foam extinguishing systems for the car decks and the fire detection system. Karel Doorman was a famous rear admiral in the Royal Netherlands Navy. He died at the Battle of the Java Sea in 1942. A ship has been named after him and in his memory no less than 4 times. The fourth is a logistics support ship that came into service in 2015. InnoVfoam developed and supplied the foam extinguishing systems for the helicopter platforms and internal hangar and garage areas on the ship. During the recordings, the ship was in the Damen Shipyard's group yard in Amsterdam for major maintenance. Since its foundation in 2003, InnoVfoam has grown to become a knowledge company that believes in the importance of research and development. The industrial buildings in Oud-Gaarsbol, which was built in 2009 and 2019, are equipped with many working foam extinguishing systems that facilitate the development of fire extinguishing concepts. Expertise is constantly being developed, particularly in relation to special risks, such as helicopter platforms, aircraft hangars, and storage facilities for fuels and chemicals. The aim is to develop the perfect foam extinguishing system for each special risk. InnoVfoam is proud to be part of Holland's long development history and of its contribution to the international position that Holland has secured for itself over the centuries and continues to do to this very day.
switch off. Let you pick up switch. My name is Johan Koekoek. I was your captain today. Thank you for your attention and I hope you had a pleasant flight.